One of my clients returned to work after maternity leave, expecting things to just slot back into the way things were. What she found was that nothing fit anymore. My client, in her before she'd left for maternity leave, she was the type of person who at work had clearly set up all the systems. She had the work running smoothly. She was the one that people would go to if they needed systems set up, and she made sure everything was running like a well-oiled machine. But now, with the preschooler at home, things weren't running the same for her. She was finding that her energy was being pulled all over the place. She was finding that at home she was needed and at work she was needed, and she couldn't do the way she had done before. And at work, things had changed. So there were different people, there was a different boss, expectations were different, and the way she'd always done it and had absolutely made things flow wasn't appreciated anymore, and expectations for her to change were very high. But not only that, she was also finding that work wasn't the priority it used to be. She obviously needed to be there for her child when he was sick, when daycare couldn't have him for whatever reason. And so she had to put work on the back burner. And this felt incredibly uncomfortable for her. So what began to happen is that she was feeling pulled in every direction, but no direction was feeling successful. Like it had before at work, she felt like she had it all figured out. Now work wasn't figured out, and she was irritated because of that and brought that home and was irritated at home too when things didn't go smoothly there either. So when I started working with this client, the first thing that we did, like I do with all clients, is to figure out where she is in change. So what's going on? What in her life had absolutely turned her upside down and made the way things had run before stop working the way they were? So it became very clear it wasn't that she'd had a baby, because she loved being at home with her child, and it wasn't because she was now back at work. She wanted to be back at work, and that was working out well. What wasn't working was the way she used to work at work, and the priority wasn't there anymore. So she felt very pulled to focus on her family, but also that she should be focusing more on work. So it became clear that she was in square one of the change cycle. So like most clients, this is where we feel the most uncomfortable, the most lost, the most unsure of the path that we're supposed to be taking. She knew she couldn't carry on anymore. And she also knew that the emotion she was feeling, she didn't like it. She was taking out her anger at work, she was taking out her frustrations at home, and she just didn't feel like herself and wanted to get back to her happy feeling and successful feeling that she'd had before coming back to work. If you're interested in finding out the other squares in the change cycle, you can see it in this video here where I have a link for it. You can check that video out. So to start with, when we're working through the change that we go through that shakes up our lives, we have to get to the point of what's actually going on. So at the beginning, she really thought it was the boss. She thought it was, the daycare. She thought it was all these external things that were really the fault of why she was unhappy at her work. And when we were able to really get down to it, she was able to see what was actually happening. And one of the tools that we used in this example, which I'll talk about more in the next video, but we talked about values and what was important to her and what she wanted to prioritize now. So it took a lot of looking inward of how this felt incredibly uncomfortable in this job she was at, and how she could show up aligning with her values, which was obviously for her child and to do well at work. So together her and I worked through getting to what was really the issue for her. And it took a lot of deep inner work and honesty and admitting there were some things that she wasn't happy about with herself that she needed differently. She needed to be different. So she looked at options, and at first it was, simple things that she tried, and nothing was really what was the thing that was making her feel better. And it wasn't until she gave up her job and decided she needed to find a whole different job that was more aligned with being the mother that she wanted to be, with the hours that worked better for being a parent. And she decided the current job was not going to be a fit for this reason. So she was able to get clear on the path that she wanted to go, which was number one priority was family, and number two was being successful at work and being able to commit to it in a way that worked for her within her family commitments. So once she got that clarity, it was very easy to get back on her path and find where she wanted to go. And not only did it change everything with how her work went, but it also changed how she felt about herself and how she showed up with her family and how she enjoyed herself. So these things allowed this change, which shook everything up for her, allowed her to prioritize herself, her personal growth, and to listen to what she actually needed so that she was aligned with her values. So if you want some help going through any kind of change you have, reach out. You can book a coffee chat with me. There'll be a link here on the screen or in the description. And we can see if this is something that I can support you with. Like her, my client, she really struggled with the emotions she was feeling, and she didn't know how to be in herself with all the anger and frustration she was feeling. And it really began to affect her relationships, the people around her, the mother she wanted to be, how she was as an employee. All the things that she valued before no longer were giving her any kind of satisfaction, and she didn't want to continue that way at all. So if you're feeling that way, let me know and I'll see if I can support you. All right, we'll talk to you again next time. Bye for now.